Thank you. Isn't that cool? Isn't it cool that it's not smoky in here? Up above everybody. I did, number 303. Number 303 up on the table.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Now, what one are you starting in on now?
We are doing chain nets. Yeah, 7 links in an hour. So it's a pretty tight schedule.
Okay.
So this is basically what, of course this is more than 7 links, but this is what we're going to be doing if you want to just pass it over. That is cool, isn't it? Oh.
No rest.
Huh?
No rest.
No rest. Just some axle. That's, I don't know, 30-something years old. This is the one that I made on that video. That's the steel face welded on. No, 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 it just has a steel face welded on.
Is that cold?
Straight. Straight cut. So hot only. Yep, hot, be hot only. It is pretty cool, isn't it? It all started because I went online and saw what they were producing as how-to videos.
Yeah, you got guys that have been doing it 14 days.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, well, no, that doesn't fly. Can you ask Lee if it's overall length or is it the length to the bump? Please.
It's overall length.
Is it okay?
That's what it's meant to do with the drawing.
Yeah, but sometimes on the bump, you know, sometimes people include the bump or they don't include the bump. So if it's overall length, it actually needs to be shorter because of the bump.
Bump like
Right?
a weld.
Yeah. Yeah, and that becomes the whole tricky factor. So the discretion is up to the judge, you know, so you're like, I'm gonna ask, since you're so low and I'm forge welding, if you could just back up just a little bit more. Yeah, probably a little bit more. Yeah, right there is good. You can still where you can see, but we just want to make sure you're safe.
So what are the instructions?
Oh, overall. So it's overall, not including the bump.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not worried about bumps. There are always
Okay.
bumps in the road.
Okay. I didn't know if you meant to the main body of the link. Okay.
That's just set.
Yeah.
How do you know the size stock you want to start with when you want 2.5 inches? How do you know?
Experience.
Yeah.
Experience. I've made I don't know how much change over the years.
So what did you start with?
5.5. Usually I wouldn't spend this much time, but since it's being judged on how it looks and all that, we're coming that much further along. So blending all the welds, all that stuff. To do 7 links, it usually takes me about 1 hour and 15 minutes. See, so the problem is, depending, you can see the bump, right?
Yeah.
So if we go to what the link proper is, you can see I'm undersized, but if we go right there, we're right in the money.
Yeah.
See how it,
He sounds pretty loose.
he's not. Do any of you guys have any questions or anything that I can answer, or? No? It's not an insert, it's actually on the outside. That's a carving axe. So the insert is on the flat side. It's not an insert, it's welded to the edge. So yes, that is a hardened tool steel piece welded into it.
Was it made by wrap?
It is, and there's a half of it over there. You can see that piece over there is actually, yep, there you go. So that's basically how it started life, except in a 1/2 inch by 2 inch size piece. I actually made that at the Les NEB, the New England Blacksmiths meet. I made that carving hatchet there. Did you take any pictures yet?
I didn't have one. Is that okay?
No, I was just wondering if you took some, if you can grab a card and maybe email them to me.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. I would really appreciate it. Anybody have any questions? Anybody got any answers? Anybody here blacksmith? So if you guys notice, my horn is actually to the right, and I'm right-handed, right? So when I was coming up, my horn used to be to the left, as most people's are. So eventually I end up switching to the other side. So now if you notice, I actually have to change how I'm doing the chain links, because before I would be over here like this. It was a natural motion. Now I have to change how I'm doing it because of where the horn orientation is. Just a kind of neat little tidbit thing. Because when you turn, I'll show you in a second. when I'm here, now watch what happens when I turn. Right? So when I turn to move over to the horn, look what I have to do in order to work over the horn going this way. When I turn, the material naturally falls in line to create a straight bend. Right? If you notice when you're working at the horn, the metal deviates, right? It moves away, and if you're trying to get a certain spot, it actually turns the metal, right? Doing it this way, it doesn't. See how it's straight in the bend? Just kind of a neat little tidbit. I don't know if any of you guys know, but I have a YouTube channel, and there's a whole bunch of really great information on that YouTube channel with all these little tidbits like that in it. Do you notice I don't do a lot of what they say they're supposed to do a forge weld? Do you guys notice that? Oh yeah, cleaning, all that crap.
They're really quick on the scarps too.
Huh?
They're really quick on the scarps too.
Yeah. There's just so much information out there that's just wrong that it's just... I end up getting in arguments with people and it's like not even worth it. What am I averaging per link? 7 minutes? 5 minutes? 7 minutes?
How many you got done? You're on your third?
Third. 6 minutes?
No, 11:56.
11:56? So not quite. Did it get you? It's gonna be oversized. Nope, we're good. Two and a half. 2.5 overall, which is the, you know, it's a tiny shape. Now again, if you're making chain links, there's that's what a chain should look like. That's what's on the table now. This is a standard for chain. In the olden days, you can make chain to whatever you wanted to because you sold it by the foot. You can make one link in a foot length if you wanted to. But what happens, you lose the flexibility. And that's one of the nice things about chain is you have the strength and flexibility.
You're gonna take 4 and then do the middle links. Connect them.
No, I'm going to, yes. Yep. So I need, yeah, and then I'm gonna do the 2 extra and then add the 1 in. Have you guys ever been working at the forge and smacked yourself in the face with the metal?
Yes.
That's never fun, is it? Why did I not go to the horn? Because I already lost the heat that I wanted to be in to take the next weld. You guys know that when you're welding, you can actually see the clean metal, right? I love your hair. Huh?
You can see the clean metal.
That you literally can see the clean metal underneath when you're forge welding.
Are you talking about like when it gets the shiny film over it?
Not just the shiny film, but you can actually see the clean metal underneath. So what happens is that the flux, what does flux do? What's the number one thing people say flux does?
Protects the materials.
Okay, yeah,
Stops
but
oxidation.
okay, that is not the main reason for a flux. Everybody says that's the main reason. It's not. You can weld without a flux.
Yeah.
A flux helps the scale melt at a lower temperature. That's the main reason for the flux. Okay? So, most people say, oh, it keeps oxygen from attacking the metal. That is part of it. But ideally what it does is it makes the scale melt at a lower temperature. If it makes the scale melt at a lower temperature, what does that mean you can do? It means I can forge weld at a lower temperature. If metal is sparking, is that good or bad? Bad. Why? Why is it bad? You're burning the carbon out of it, right? So it's not wrought iron that doesn't have any carbon. So anytime that you see smoking metal coming out of the fryer, you are burning the carbon out of the steel or the metal, and you are ruining the metal. So ideally what we're looking for is for the metal to come up to welding temperature, and a little bit of sparking is okay, but not much. If you have a neutral fire inside your forge, you won't have sparks coming out though you're at welding temperature. Does that make sense? Right, because you have a neutral fire. A neutral fire does not have an excess of oxygen. Metal burns because of what? Excess oxygen. 1, 2, yes. Thank you. I could do one more without it.
I was just going to say, you're making an extra one because you got the extra cut.
No, I won't, believe it or not. By the time I get done, I won't.
Yeah, I know.
Should I make a hook to go on the end of it too? Lee said it's up to my discretion on what it is that I'm doing, but the problem is these judges, you get too persnickety and it's going very, very good. Very, very, very good. Again, I'm a little bit sketchy on how you feel about the measuring thing, but
Excuse me.
I was hoping to have some samples up there that I could actually see to copy, and there's no samples, so I was like, oh man. What a great group. Great group, good questions. It's awesome.
Yes. Are you okay on material?
I am. I got plenty of material. What I could use though is a bottle of water. I hate to send you for a... Did you guys notice what I did with the links? Right, so I lifted it and they slid down to each side. You guys want to see something cool? See if it works for you? Watch. See what I just did? Isn't that cool? Why is that cool? What's the hardest thing about juggling the chain? What do you want to go in the fire? If all the links are on one side, what happens? It offsets it, right, so you can't get the weld into the fire. So by that little trick, swing it down, swing it up, the links will automatically go to the sides.
Okay.
Oh, great. Thank you, Lee.
Yep.
Of course, one of the problems with doing this is who's never happy.
You?
Yeah, I'm never happy when it comes to doing... Anytime I'm forging something, I'm like, I can do this better.
Are you leaving them hot so they don't rub and weld them the next one? Is that what you're doing?
No, I leave them hot because chain is designed to be ductile. So, ideally, I want that chain to cool off on its own. If you look at those links on that chain, you can actually see they're bent. I made that because I needed a, what's the thing they actually use with logging to, choker chain. I needed a choker chain. That's what I made that for. So that is a choker chain. I made that at the Bolton Fair last year because I had some trees to move for the new shop, the new teaching facility I'm putting up. So anyways, that's why I made that.
on it?
Yeah, go check it out. It's pretty cool. It has a locking hook, a slip hook. It's got a slip ring. Awesome. We are doing very well over here. Oh, he's talking to him. Never mind.
I mean, I started doing it more seriously.
So earlier you were talking about keeping the fire neutral to prevent burning the steel.
Yes.
How do
So,
you keep a fire neutral? What does that mean?
so you have a carbonizing fire, a neutral fire, and an oxidizing fire, right? So within the given fire, you have a fuel volume to air volume. The ideal mixture is called a Stokes mixture, which means there's exactly the same amount of oxygen as there is fuel burning at the same time. That's your neutral fire.
Okay.
In a neutral fire, you will not have burning of the metal. Why? Because there's no extra oxygen. But as soon as you take it out into the atmosphere and now the oxygen hits it, guess what?
It burns when you pull it out of the fire.
It burns when you pull it out of the fire. If you have a fire and you ever notice, when you're forge welding, what happens to the color of the fire? As it starts changing towards welding temperature, what happens to the fire? The flame changes. The color of the flame changes, right? So ideally, anytime we're doing something, you know you're approaching that welding temperature because of the flame changing color. So once the flame changes color, you can actually start to look at it and know that you're coming up to that welding temperature. I don't know, I just don't grab tongs and do it, right? Because that would make too much sense. I was flicking it with my finger. How do you become a faster forger? Consistency. So practice, yes, but consistency. When you first start out forging, don't go too fast. Start off slow enough that you start seeing some consistency in a hammer blow. Start off with that consistency, and then you'll start seeing the metal will start moving consistently. What's the number one thing most new blacksmiths have to do all the time? Correcting. Right? They're constantly correcting a hammer blow. So if you get, looking at what you're doing and you pay attention, you'll actually see what's going on, and that'll allow for you to get ahead of the curve faster. Again, this isn't a speed thing. It's about consistency. Kind of surprised that we're doing the thumb latch the last thing, because that's like the thinking, you know what I mean? That's the. Thankfully, we got a little bit of a break in between. So, did you guys notice the change of the color of the flames? I could use another water. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
right on the side for you.
Oh, great, thank you.
You're trying to work around that bump.
Yes, that bump is your reinforcement. Do you know how chain fails? Do you know why traditional chain was not welded on the side? It's not because you can't do it, but do you know why? When you have a chain link, when you're actually in use, where is the most stress going? If the joint is located where? No. In the middle. A chain will fall apart in the middle. We're talking about the middle this side, not the middle this side. Okay, so what happens is that a weld, the reason why we do the weld on the end is because the material is also in tension and compression at the same time. On well-worn chain, well anyways, these links used to be rounder, and what you notice is they're getting straighter. See how these are rounder down here versus these? And it's because these, actually when in pulling, this side's moved in. So that end is actually in compression and tension at exactly the same time. That's why it won't fail. Modern chain, on the other hand, is actually done on the sides because of the manufacturing process. It's actually, they're butt welded. Induction butt welded.
So which is stronger?
Well, if you were to take an induction butt weld and do it by hand, I bet you it'd be weaker than what we're doing. I've actually proofed chain. That's 3/8 size, and I've lifted 6,000 pounds with it. Would you lift 6,000 pounds on a normal everyday chain that's regular mild steel versus an alloy steel? Probably not. Would I certify that as a safety device for someone up on the top of a building holding up this 10,000 pound girder? Will it save them if it breaks? I don't think I would guarantee it. But in that same token, I've pulled 5,000 pound logs with that chain pretty easily. What do you guys notice about my tongs? What do I keep doing? Okay? All of my tongs are made out of mild steel. Why?
So they don't crack.
They don't crack. So what happens is my tongs, I'll get them orange hot, and I will cool them right off in the water. I don't care. These days, a lot of people are selling titanium tongs, or they're selling alloy steel tongs to make them lighter. I want my tongs as heavy as possible so I can get them red hot and still work.
Your scrolling tongs also mild?
Huh?
Your scrolling tongs, are they also mild?
No, these are the only ones that are not mild steel because they're used cold. So anything that's used cold, you can use an alloy and then heat treat them. But otherwise, usually you're not gonna mild steels everything. Good point.
I just figured I'd ask. I make
Yep.
the scrolling tongs out of spring steel. And,
Yep. And those are made out of 5160. Time?
You got 15 minutes.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
we keep killing it. Yeah.
You might get it done.
I don't know. This is always the jinxer, right? It's the last one. Oh crap! I gotta do another one. Doesn't help. I keep hitting myself in the eyeglasses with my hammer.
Have time for a drink of water.
Well, I only got 15 minutes. The pressure's on. I'm up against a tough group. I am up against a tough group.
What's the prize?
Oh, I don't know.
So when you were working the first piece, were the other pieces close to the fire?
Yes, they were actually on the fire. So they're in somewhere where the flames are coming through to preheat them.
But not in.
Not in, because if you leave them in, you get scaling. Huh? Yeah, borax.
Any farrier work?
I do. That's actually how I make my living, is as a farrier. I am not a full-time blacksmith, nor am I professional. I was a professional at one point, and then I quit. I got burnt out. And at that same time frame, I'd already served apprenticeship as a farrier. So I just switched over to doing farrier work. The blacksmithing work, for many, is a living. I just got burnt out dealing with people.
Too many tire kickers.
Yeah, not even that. It's just,
I want
what's the first thing that someone says when they go to the store and then they come and see you to buy something? How much, right? So if you say to them, oh, well, this is $400. Oh, well, I can go to Home Depot and buy it for 10. No, but they think they can. So if 1 out of every 9 customers is a good customer, then, and that's what I ran into. Now, mind you, I always had work, I wasn't struggling, I always had jobs, but I just got so burnt out I couldn't do it anymore, so I quit completely. I had no vision. In order for me to make something, I have to be able to see it, and I couldn't see anything anymore. So I walked away, and then one of the peeps asked me at my local town if I would actually do a demonstration in town, and I said sure, and that's how I got roped into it. Now, 30 plus years ago, when I was doing this full time, my dream plan was always to start a school. And now, after all this time frame, I'm actually going to be starting a school. So, is this exactly the adventure or the journey that it was supposed to be? I would say so. It's one of those things that's just such a neat factor. There's no coincidences in life.
Where's the school going to be?
In Rutland, Massachusetts. Well, it's not that far away. Where do you live?
Not far from here.
Yeah, well, Rutland's just 30 minutes from here. Yeah. Not Rutland, Vermont. Rutland, Mass.
Oh, okay.
Little bit closer.
Speaking about Mark Zalowski, he's got a whole check full of stuff that people wanted and didn't want to pay for.
Yeah, that's normal. That's normal. So what happens now is I don't sell things. So this seems funny, but I don't sell things. If someone comes to me and says, hey, how much is this? I give them a price, they buy it, that's fine. Someone comes to me and says, hey, I want to have a thumb latch made. I'm like, this is how much it is. There's no dickering in price. There's no... I get $125 an hour is what I charge for my time, not including materials, and then there's actually a little fee for shop time. Then what happens is that that's for the normal stuff. Then for blade work, it's $150 an hour. For wrought iron work, it's $175 an hour. So, yeah, you can say, well, that's a lot per hour, but not when you figure what the time is. What's the only thing we cannot get back? Time. So, if you are doing something, you should be, if you're doing something within your line of work, ideally you need to get paid for your time. Otherwise, guess what? You're not doing a job. You're doing a favor. Yes.
Your work is very inspirational to aspiring welders like me.
Oh, thank you so much. I love hearing that. I have a YouTube channel too. So, yeah, so if you grab a card, if you don't want a card, it's JLP Services Inc. And there's a whole bunch of how-to videos on there. There's, I don't know, 50-something.
That is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm just counting.
Out
Just
of all
counting.
of this, you have to count.
Yep. Huh? Yeah. We're good. We're good.
That is a handsome change.
Thank you so much. I made it look this just for you people. You inspired me.
You chrome it now?
No, but I will put some wax on it. That's about as good chroming-wise as I get.
What's the, I've seen people use beeswax, I've seen people use oiled linseed oil. What's
I'm pretty shishi.
and it smells nice.
Yankee Candle.
Sherry.
Huh?
Sherry.
Yeah. Yep.
Flux just clean borax?
Flux is just clean borax. This is actually hydrogous borax versus anhydrogous borax, which means it has water in it. There's actually, if you're a chemist, there's decahydrate and pentahydrate borax. Those are the moles of water in the borax. I actually prefer to boil my borax and then crush it. Most people say that's a bunch of crap. You can say whatever you want to, that's what I like. I am not using that right now, only because I've been lazy.
$150 change. Yeah, exactly.
I hope so. There's some stiff competition, so it's really pretty difficult to, to get ahead. So.
You have 5 minutes to spare, and there's a lot of people still banging. So.
Yeah, no, I'm all done. This is it. I'm just cleaning my fire and getting ready. There is no hook requirement.
Do you have a shelf for that?
Do I have what? No. No, and they're not needed.
Yeah, well, the one I have doesn't have one. But I'm in outside air, so I get a little bit cross draft, but it draws pretty well.
This, as you can see, it draws amazing. The key thing is just to make sure it's set up properly.
I see that. Is this your permanent shop?
No, this is my demo shop.
Really?
Took me 8 months to build.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
You sleep in there at night.
The anvil staying here, and you got one like that in your shop?
Well, the shop is being built. This will be the shop anvil. So what happened was I bought this. So I've been contacting the importer for these for 6 years. And every time I call him and say, hey, you have one, you have one, you have one. At first, I used to call him like every 6 months. He said, I'll let you know. So then I went from every 6 months, I went to every 3 months. Hey, you got one? Hey, you got one? Hey, you got one? Then I went to every month. Hey, you got one? Hey, you got one? Hey, you got one? And his whole thing was, they only make these once in a while. Like they make 6 a year of this style.
How much are they? 3,000?
Keep going.
More than that, really?
More than that, yep.
Is it rigid? What is it?
It's a ruffling house. Ruffling house. So anyways, I happened to call the guy, and he said, well, let me call the factory and see what they have. And they're in Germany. So he called them and said they have one in stock that has some pinholes in the face. I said, okay, that's fine. You know, how big are they? He said, let me call them back and see if they can send you a picture. Calls me back and says, oh, it's already loaded on the truck. So either you're going to want it or you're not. I'll send you pictures when it comes in. Right? So anyways, it came in, and then he sent me pictures. If you guys want to, come right up and take a look. Come on up. I'm all done, so. So you guys know what a pinhole is in castings, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, there's a pinhole here. See it?
Minuscule.
And then there's one like over here somewhere, which you can't even see it now.
Talking about?
No. He gave this to me for the old price.
How much was that? 8,000?
No. Right around $4,500.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah. So anyways, the new price because of Trump's tariffs, $5,200. And that's this year's price. Next year it's going up again.
What do they cast on?
It's their proprietary mix of steel. They won't even tell you what it's made out of.
There you go.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you. So anyways, it's a great anvil. I love it. It reminds me of working on my old hay button. My hay button I had used for 30 years without a dent in it. And then I came out of retirement. I gave this up for 13 years. So when I came back into doing the blacksmithing work, 6 months of working on that anvil, I put 6 dents in it. That's when I went out and bought the petting house. Now my 170-pound hay button I had used for 30 years with no dents. 6 months, 6 dents. I was like, this ain't working. 20 minutes. Okay.
20 minutes.
Do I get extra points for putting hook on it?
You have to ask the judge.
Well, I got time.
Okay. I just thought I'd
I'll send you
mention,
pictures at work, okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
please,
Seth, right?
Sean.
Sean. Sorry, Sean.
Lee stretched it out a little bit because he was giving him the class, so we gave this whole thing a little bit longer.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sliding scale. Okay.
Do a hook?
Yep. there's only, for these have to be 2.5. Yeah, I know. Again, I have no idea. You know, brownie points or no brownie points, I got nothing. Again, it's my first time competing here, so I have no idea what the rules are or any of that stuff. So we're just gonna fudge it and see how we make out. Of course, sometimes if you go overboard, they think you're being a smart butt, and then people don't appreciate it. It is a special oil. It's actually for bronze worm gears. So it's just a lubricant. Huh?
It's for that bronze gear there.
Yes. Yep. Huh?
You're still hammering over.
Yeah, good. I got overzealous with it. I might not be turning the hook. Got a little overzealous. Should have taken my tack and then been done with it. I'm just feeling rushed. It lost some size to my eye when I did it. I'm a little bummed. What was that?
12:42.
What? I don't even know how much time I have. No, I have no idea. Because they extended it, so what was that?
I said it was 20 minutes, like 10 minutes.
Okay. And I have no idea, so it's minutes? Of course it is. really tried to get into the intermediate group. I forge once a month if I'm lucky. Thank you.
Have to wax it again, or
No, huh?
you have to wax it again?
Yeah. Yep. But it is what it is.
You made it.
I did. Hey, what's going on? Ruffling House. Ruffling House.
I mean, roughing out.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Boy, she's a beauty.
Isn't it? Of course, I'm getting it all waxed up now. I'm making it all dirty.
Everybody else need to go home now.
Why's that?
They're gonna win.
I don't know. There's some pretty serious competition. Everybody here is no slouch. Yes, it's actually on that sheet right there.
Okay.
I did a little extra. I'm probably going to be penalized for it because the weld team isn't very good. But it is what it is.
But it's extra.
Yeah, but you know, I don't know the judging. So it's like, well, are you better off just leaving something the way it is? Or are you better off doing the little extra? Some people don't want to see the extra. They just want you to do what they want you to do. So by throwing in that extra,
Right.
especially because it's, you know, will that weld work? Yeah. But is it pretty? No, not compared to the rest of the chain.
Something works, why fix it?
Huh?
Something works, why fix it?
Yeah, but you know how it is with a lot of people. I mean, it's really, it just becomes that whole facet. You know, that people are people. For me, if I knew I had another 10 minutes, I would have actually done that weld again. You know, I would have cleaned it up, but they keep saying the time and then they make it longer. So I was all done, what, 10 minutes before it was time, so anyways.
They judging it right now, or they wait?
No, I guess as soon as he rings the bell, but
You don't want to be in the middle of it and then.
well, yeah, because then it's unfinished, then what do you do? So it's all right.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's time for a beer.
Oh, you're taller than I am.
Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah.
Luckily caught you on the hat.
Ain't gonna do much damage up there.
Put that on there. One nice thing about metal is what?
You toss it around.
Toss it around. Now mind you, throwing knives around, that's a whole different ballgame.
So how did you do in the other session?
Don't know.
Oh, they're coming around now.
No. So once they bring the bell, you bring that up, and then they have the judging afterwards. So that's the end of it.
You gotta do the hook, the door latch and hardware.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm beat. I'm tired. Like I said, I don't do much forging. So on something like today where it's high output, and then, you know, really I shouldn't have done the hook because of the fact that I'm already tired. So the thumb latch is going to be tough. Luckily we got 2 hours, so that'll make it a lot easier pace.